Okay, dear friends, welcome to our Monday evening guided meditation and the Dhamma discussion. Now, let's begin with the chanting. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhaṃ saranam gacchāmi. Dhammaṃ saranam gacchāmi. Sanghaṃ saranam gacchāmi. Dutiyampi buddhaṃ saranam gacchāmi. Dutiyampi dhammaṃ saranam gacchāmi. Dutiyampi sangham saranam gacchāmi. Tatiyampi buddham saranam gacchāmi. Tatiyampi dhammam saranam gacchāmi. Tatiyampi sangham saranam gacchāmi. Panatipata viramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami. Adinādana viramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami. Āmisu miccācārā viramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami. Musāvādā viramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami. Suramīra majjapamā daṭṭhāna viramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami. Itipiso bhagavā araham sammā sambuddho Vijjācarana sampanno sugato lokvidu. Anuttaro purisa dhamma sarathi. Sattha deva manussanam buddho bhagavati. Swakato bhagavata dhammo sanditthiko. Akaliko ehi passiko opanayiko. Paccattam veditabbo viñño hiti. Supatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho. Ujjupatipanno bhagavato savak sangho Nyaya patipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Samichi patipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Yadidam chattari purisa yugani atta purisa puggala Is bhagavato savak sangho Ahuneyo pahuneyo Dakhineyo anjali karaniyo Anuttaram punyakhitam lokansati Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, let's begin our meditation practice now. Observing the five precepts, understanding and appreciating these very essential disciplinary practices as the foundation for our spiritual practice. Let's begin our meditation practice with a happy mind, with appreciative joy, being very happy about this very moment, your spiritual practice, your Dhamma practice. Maintaining the proper posture, gently closing your eyes. Understand your posture the way you are seated or lying down in your peaceful surrounding. Being so grateful to every single condition in your life for allowing yourself to be in this moment as you, as who you are and what you are. And now taking a few deep inhalations and exhalations, some deep, mindful, and gentle breaths, releasing any tension and negative energies from your body, withdrawing your attention from the external world as you bring your total attention to your inner experience. Make yourself very comfortable and relaxed. So take a few deep breaths, filling your entire lungs, experiencing the each breath throughout the body, gently breathing in for 3 seconds. Hold that breath for another 3 seconds and let it release mindfully for another 3 seconds. You may do this triangular breathing experience or exercise as many times as you want to in order to bring your mindful attention to the present moment. And once you feel comfortable, letting the natural breathing process take place, you may spend some time on focusing on your physical body, your posture, being very mindful, being very attentive and sensitive to your physical reality at this moment, scanning through your body from the top of the head, slowly and gently down to the tips of the toes, sweeping through the body, observing even the subtle sensations and feelings through the deep stillness, being aware of the surface level of your physical body, the head area, the forehead, the face, the neck area, or the shoulders, or the arms, the chest area, the abdomen, the back, feel the spinal cord, left leg, and the right leg, and feel the general structure of your physical body. Taking your time, being very patient, and being very gentle and kind to yourself. As you mindfully engage in this body scan, see if you can let go of all the thoughts, thinking, memories, and mental images from the mind, allowing yourself to be here and now. Now, with this relaxed body and calm mind, bringing your total attention to the front of the face, to the end of the nostrils area, understanding the breathing process as you breathe in and out through the nostrils. You may observe each and every single incoming and outgoing breath mindfully, relaxing your body and calming the mind with each breath as you let go of the past, let go of the future. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. You are just observing the natural coming and outgoing breath with present moment, silent awareness. Simply understanding how your body and mind become free from tension, anxieties, and other negativities, developing more inner peace and harmony. Now, as we experience this physical and mental well being, spiritual happiness, and peace, let's share all these positive feelings now with all living beings in the world, in the universe, in all directions, letting your love go to all beings, broadening your heart, broadening your mind, feeling the deep sense of connectedness with all beings. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be relaxed. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be relaxed. May all beings be peaceful. And now, turning back to yourself, taking a few deep breaths again, refreshing your body and mind, understanding your posture, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, let's chant the Mitta Sutra. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove, wishing in gladness and in safety. May all beings be at ease, whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born. May all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another, even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child. So with the boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upwards to the skies and downwards to the depths, outwards and unbounded, freed from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness. One should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding, by not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being freed from all sense desires, is not born again into this world. All right. How's everybody doing today? Any short question or comment from today's practice? Okay. I think no one has anything to ask or comment. In that case, uh, I would like to briefly talk about one special spiritual quality that we chant in the Metta Sutta, uh, if you can remember, that is called Appa. The English translation to that word, that quality is to be unburdened with duties. You remember that where we chant in the Metta Sutta. This is mentioned as a very helpful quality to cultivate our mind, to uh, live a peaceful and a happy, healthy life. This is a very unique uh, quality of our everyday life, even though it has not been able to achieve and maintain for many people, as many people are living a very hectic, very busy life with so many obligations, responsibilities, other engagements. Uh, so many things are going on. And therefore, many people are not able to experience any peace, any tranquility, uh, any relaxation in their everyday life. So many people complain uh, for not having enough time even for themselves. And sometimes people uh, complain that even 24 hours is not enough. They don't. They feel that a day is not enough for their work. So they are pretty much obsessed by these endless activities, obligations, you know. And we can see how much people in the society have been controlled by or conditioned by this nature, uh, this way of life. Many people even are appreciating such life. You know, they always want to be busy. They always want to be doing something. You know, uh, sometimes people use the word workaholics, right? People cannot avoid working. They cannot uh, sometimes stay at home. You know, maybe doing nothing is a serious problem for many people. And sometimes people even may scare, to uh, be in such peace or uh, idle state, in their everyday life, because that much they have been conditioned uh, by this endless work, being so busy. And people sometimes even criticize and blame for being relaxed, being tranquil, looking at some people from superficial level, since they do not know how to appreciate that. But eventually we can see that today in the modern world, in the modern society, there are so much negativities, problems, conflicts in their life, uh, and many issues, very importantly, with their physical body. Many people are going through many difficult conditions, negative conditions, as a result of being so busy. You know, uh, so there can be so many different levels, layers to uh, that way of life. You know, as many people are engaged in activities in different levels. So therefore, one of the most important values today, uh, in the world, in the modern world, you know even this has been appreciated in almost every uh, social uh, levels, especially in the modern psychology, the medical field, and even in the business, because they know the productivity of a company, of a somebody, if they are maintaining a very peaceful and healthy, relaxed state of mind. So it has been appreciated nowadays, as it can contribute to many aspects of. So directly we know how this the busyness and the tranquility, the peace of mind are directly connected to our physical health. You know, especially for the heart problems, even blood sugar, these kind of evident problems, physical complaints, are directly connected to these activities of our life. You know. And that's not all. Most importantly, what we can see here is that it is directly connected to our mind, our mentality. How we feel in our mind. When we are busy, mm, when we have endless duties, activities, work to do uh, in a day, um, how that can affect our mind. You know, so this is where many people complain having stress, anxieties, even that can lead to very complex conditions as depression. You know, Many serious problems. You know, if they do not know how to handle this situation, if they do not know how to deal with that, it can create a lot of uh, psychological issues in everyday life. So, therefore, in the Buddhist teachings also, quality of not to be burdened by duties, activities, uh, is greatly appreciated. Mm. So, we should not misunderstand that quality as doing nothing. You know, it doesn't mean that we have to let go of all the activities, our duties, even our work. You know, it doesn't mean that. What we need to understand here is unburdened with duties. Uh, it is not only physical level, in the physical level, right? Because we understand this combination, the relationship between our physical body and mind, right? The busier we get within our physical activities, our work, busier uh, our mind can get as well, right? So this is the relationship. So of course, in the physical level also, we have to uh, be relaxed and peaceful. You know, uh, when you are so busy, uh, burdened by uh, a lot of duties, activities, in the physical level, that can create such a huge restlessness in your body. You know, uh, Many conditions. You don't feel rest. You know, you don't feel relaxation in your body. Your body can get so tense. When your body has no time to relax. You know, uh, in the nature, uh, naturally our body requires that uh, uh, peaceful time, relaxing time uh, to regenerate our physical body. When we engage in a lot of activities, we waste our energy, we lose our energy. Uh, so that can create a lot of tension and anxiety and restlessness in our body. It's a heavy burden to our brain. It cannot handle a certain level of being busy. That's why even we have a pattern in our everyday life where we dedicate for sleep. As a very essential need. Our brain, this physical body, needs the restoration of our energy to better function in life. So, when we talk about successful life, peaceful life, uh, and a healthy life, this uh, quality is very essential. As an ongoing value to our everyday life. If one can appreciate that peace of mind, not to be burdened by duties, uh, is a quality that we can really enjoy. You know, so it's a kind of attitude actually we need to develop. We need to identify in our everyday life, because it can be very difficult, very hard for you to enjoy and appreciate if you are uh, really valuing uh, being busy. You know, do not know how to enjoy that freedom, relaxation with less activities, you don't know how to appreciate it. So when we think about the development of the mind, especially in terms of the Buddha's spiritual training, this quality is so important. And as I mentioned earlier, uh, this is directly connected to our mind, our mental activities, our feelings, our understanding, our values even. So these things are very much related to uh, this quality, this attribute, as we can understand. I have a very good a short story for that. One day, the father wanted to test his two kids' intelligence. They were like teenagers. These two sons had two rooms for their own at home. So, father asked these two sons to fill their rooms with something, you know, to fill their rooms with something very quickly. Okay. So, that was the assignment, like intelligence test for these two sons. Father, uh, giving this assignment, he was watching them, secretly. And the elder brother, the older brother was thinking, I do, I had to be very smart. What he thought was he collected cottons. Uh, he got a lot of cottons and filled his room with the cotton. You know, it was taking long time. You because it's not easy. Because we know the cottons uh, are very light. You know, uh, and therefore he needed to collect a lot of cottons, fill his room. So hours to do that. But the younger brother was very smart. The younger brother was very smart. He was waiting. He was doing nothing. He was watching his older brother was collecting cottons and putting in his room. So he was very happy. He was playing. He was not anxious at all. And father came. Father came to see after some time. And the older brother was still collecting cottons and putting them in his room. And father observed that the younger brother uh, was not doing anything at all. And he was not even look anxious. And he asked the younger son, uh, what's going on, my son? What are you doing? Are you even caring about my assignment for you? And then he invited his father to his home. And he showed his father uh, his room that where he had lit a candle in the middle of his room. So father was so impressed. Father was so impressed by his younger son, his son's intelligence, you know, because he filled his entire room with the light just by lighting a candle in the middle of his room. So this was a very simple story, you know. The idea here, the connection uh, to our main topic today, which is to be burdened by duties and activities, has something to do with our intelligence, our wisdom, our wise thinking. You know, uh, we are really smart. You know, we can avoid being so busy. Unnecessarily being burdened by duties and activities. we are really smart, that smartness can come from many different directions. It's all about what we talk about uh, as a very important quality for our great success is the time management. The management. This is very important. If you know the time management, you know, that can be a great secret to avoid that busyness, the restlessness, uh, being burdened by duties and activities. Okay, so the time management is very important. And if you know your priorities for you, you know, if you know how to select your priorities in your life, or even if you take one single day, what is your priority for that day, you know, so that can also have a big impact for this quality. You know. So if you are intelligent, if you are uh, very smart in guiding yourself in your activities, uh, that can be very helpful to maintain that peaceful state of mind. So another quality, as we always talk in the number, if we can be really mindful, if we can really watch our mind, this is very important to let go of unnecessary uh, impulses, unnecessary burdens, restlessness, and all other negativities. You know, if you maintain some spiritual connection with your mind, your spiritual aspect of your life, uh, great way to let go of that unnecessary tension and anxiety. You know, uh, from by being uh, obsessed by these activities. So this is what we learn to cultivate in meditation practice. As a result of practicing meditation and mindfulness, we gain such a powerful benefit, very, uh, uh, very beneficial quality in our life. You know, you can probably practically observe this. This may have this may have happened to you, has happened to you already. If you mindfully observe that, uh, as a result of practicing your mindfulness, as you are very skillful in doing that, uh, you can do so many things without messing up, without creating any restlessness in yourself, you know, because you always watch your mind. As a result of that, you do not let your mind uh, to get controlled by or carried away by other negative emotions, thoughts, and feelings. You know. If you think about this unnecessary busyness, restlessness in society today, as a result of uh, mostly the external urges, or maybe things that they observe in the social media, news, from other people, all these things, keep them busy. They think that, oh, I also need to do this. I also need to follow this and that. There are so many things are controlling. You know, so there are external observations, the connection, the relationship between these external conditions are keeping them so busy inside. But if you turn your attention inward, what happened to observe what happens to you, whenever you are engaged in all these activities, your duties, uh, you don't get that busy inside. You know, you can easily maintain that peace of mind, tranquil mind. Uh, so you can see some important influences of practicing mindfulness, staying alert, be aware of what is happening to your body and mind. As long as you are connected with this inner nature, uh, things can easily go away from you. You know, so when you narrow this point down to your practical level, how your mind really gets busy. basically dwelling in the past, projecting to the future. So this is how our mind basically gets busy all the time. So that is exactly the uh, real point of practicing mindfulness. As long as when you know how to live in the present moment, that unnecessary burden uh, by duties means the mental duties are actually to produce thoughts, ruminate thoughts, your memories, and even project into the future. So these mental activities, not necessarily the external activities, uh, you can let go of this unnecessary burden inside. So very psychological, very psychological and very beneficial when you have this understanding approach to your everyday life. So therefore, uh, maybe no matter where you are, no matter what you are doing, and no matter even who you are with, these things can no longer make you busy. So it's a quality act. It would not happen to you right away overnight. Kind of practicing mindfulness, these spiritual qualities as we appreciate in the Dhamma, uh, you may become very comfortable, very easy to let go of this unnecessary burden. You know, uh, so we have to clearly understand how our mind can get busy. Not necessarily these external activities. As I said earlier, there's a connection between external activities, our mental activities, but definitely when you understand the nature of your mind, if you can always get in touch with your mind uh, as these unique qualities that we appreciate in the Dhamma, as you already know, to let go and accept. These are the two unique qualities that you can keep your mind uh, peaceful, relaxed, and tranquil at all time. Mm. So when you know these qualities, when you cultivate these qualities, you can easily keep yourself very peaceful and relaxed. So the secret is that you need to identify your mind. You need to always get connected with the mind. Okay. So there's a nice story, another story for you today. Um, there were two friends at the Buddha's time. Okay. These two friends used to listen to the Dhamma, uh, and we used to associate with the monks and other spiritual friends a lot. So as they were so interested, so interested in the Buddha's teachings, they wanted to become monks. They wanted to attain the order and practice the Dhamma seriously. So deciding that, they both came to a monk. They expressed their intention, and they became monks. And they both asked their teacher, the monk, the headmaster, about the practice. Very serious. Uh, but one friend was very uh, old, quite old. The other friend was not that old. He was young, like middle age, let's say. So they both asked the teacher, what are the approaches to the Dhamma practice? Then the teacher explained to these two friends, two monks now, uh, this one approach is to learn the Dhamma, study the Dhamma, the Buddha's teachings, this Vinaya, poses, disciplinary codes and rules, these things. And at the same time, to preach the Dhamma. We call that approach uh, the Grantha. That means to engage in the studying of the Dhamma and preaching it probably, and sharing it with others. So that's one approach. And the second approach he introduces to these two newly ordained monks is that this Vidassana Dura. Vidassana Dura means to directly go into practice, without much studies. One may learn what is exactly needed, you know, to help in order to attain enlightenment. What are the direct uh, qualities, practices needed? So they would uh, learn only that part of the Dhamma, and they would completely dedicate themselves to the spiritual practice, meditation practice. So these two approaches were introduced to these two newly ordained monks, and the senior monk thought, well, I am old now, and I don't have much time to live. Therefore, I would take the second option, which is to go into the practice directly. And the young monk thought, I don't have to be so rushed, I would take some time. Therefore, I engage myself in learning of the Dhamma and preaching it, sharing it with others. So they both went to two directions. Okay. And after some time, the young monk, his name was Portila, you know, he was so skillful. He was very smart. Therefore, within a very short time, he studied all the Dhamma by that time, Dhamma and Vinaya, and he memorized most of it. And he was very smart in teaching. He was a very powerful teacher. Very successful teacher who could explain the Dhamma to others very clearly. Very clearly, he could explain the Dhamma to other students. You know, therefore he was very popular. He was very famous, and even he had about 500 students. Uh, you know, he had his own 500 students who were training under him. His guidance, and it is said that there were even monks who attained enlightenment. Uh, under his training. Okay, he was very smart. So the monk, the senior monk, was practicing alone, practicing meditation. He was interested in attaining enlightenment. So one day, this young monk, Portila, thought, uh, so now I am so famous, I am very popular, and I have even 500 students. Uh, and I am very well versed in the Dhamma. I can easily teach the Dhamma, and I know a lot of Dhamma. I have memorized most of the Dhamma. So therefore, I want to see my friend, who got ordained with himself, with him. He wanted to invite him. He invited his friend to his monastery, and he thought to have a Dhamma discussion. He wanted to kind of show off, his knowledge, his intelligence, his popularity, and all these things. He was very arrogant uh, in, in his character because of these things. So he invited the senior monk to his monastery, and he was going to have a kind of Dhamma discussion, Dhamma debate, So that day, the Lord Buddha saw this incident, what was going to happen with his divine eye. Okay. So, realizing that the portiller, the young monk, even though he's very popular and even though he was very well versed in the Dhamma, even though he is having a lot of students under him, he's just about to commit a very bad, powerful, uh, negative karma. mm, by putting this senior monk into trouble, okay, difficult. Seeing that, Buddha came to this monastery. Buddha approached them, and uh, after arriving in the temple, in the monastery, Buddha invited these two monks. Uh, and then Buddha asked different questions from these two monks. First, he asked the Dhamma from the young monk. So, the Portila. Uh, Buddha asked the questions from different sutras, discourses, and other disciplinary roles and Vinaya. So this monk gave answers very quickly, right away, without a second. He would answer any question that Buddha asked, from the Dhamma. And Buddha turned to the senior monk, and then Buddha asked very deep, very complex questions about the attainment of enlightenment, like Magga Phala, you know, uh, the different stages of enlightenment, elementary, once written and unwritten, and the Arahant, the final enlightenment, all these levels. So that monk was very smart in answering these questions. Uh, you know, so he didn't have any problem, any question about those things. What would ask him, and at that point, uh, Buddha asked these questions from the young monk, hmm, who was very well versed, very popular, very famous, and having even many students under him, training under him. So he could not answer any of those questions. Uh, so he was very quiet because he didn't have that experience. Uh, so Buddha at that point complained and criticized that young monk, Portila. Even he used the word tucca, tucca Portila, which is empty. Tucca means empty. Buddha called him tucca Portila, and even praised the senior monk as his own son, even, spiritual son, because he uh, deserved that title, because he gained uh, the real benefit of the Dhamma, following the Dhamma. So, hearing these words from the Buddha, the Potila, the young monk, got him so upset. It was a kind of shock for him because he did not expect such a thing from the Buddha, in front of his friend, because his own intention was so different. He wanted to uh, show off and kind of disrespect his friend, for not being well versed in Dhamma. But Buddha turned the story the other way around. So this Pucca uh, was criticized by the Buddha. And what you are doing is not right. You are just like a cowboy. Explanation was, you are just like a cowboy who watch and handle a herdle of cows. Hmm? The cowboy does not deserve any of the benefits, even though this cowboy takes care of the cows, feeding the cows, guiding them in the field, and in the end of the day, he has to give everything, the milk, the cow dungs, and all these things to the owner. So he would not get any benefit from the cow, only a small wage he would get. So you are just like that. You are learning the Dhamma and you are preaching the Dhamma, but you are not getting any benefit of it. You don't use it, you don't live in it. So you are wasting your life, you are wasting your time. So Buddha criticized. Yes, the senior monk is just like my own son. He's deserving this highest benefit of the real Dhamma. He has practiced it, he has lived in it. So Buddha praised him. So that same day, uh, Tucci Portila got so upset and down, and uh, he ran away from that temple. Hmm? Uh, Maybe we can assume that other monks, others in the monastery also came to know that story. What happened because when the Buddha come to a place, many others also gathered around him. So he got ashamed and he ran away. He went far and far away from that temple. He wanted to escape. You know? And he could even realize that what he was doing is wrong. Therefore, he was thinking about his own friend, his friend, how he could answer those critical, deep questions. There he realized that there's something missing in my practice. There's something is missing in my knowledge. Therefore, I want to look for it. So he went to a senior monk in a rural temple and asked him, Bante, teach me the Dhamma. I want to attain enlightenment. Uh, so that monk could see how arrogant this monk was, you know, that he was not ready to listen because he has so much knowledge in his mind. He knew a lot of Dhamma, right? So that senior monk realized his character and directed him to a young monk. I cannot teach you. You go to this young monk and learn the Dhamma from him. So that young monk also refused to teach the Dhamma, yeah, and sent to another monk. So he got so frustrated by going one monk to the other to learn the Dhamma, to learn real meditative object, which was best for him. He wanted to learn the Dhamma and practice and attain the enlightenment right away. So finally, he came to a very small monk who was 7 years old. But he was enlightened. This young monk was enlightened, even though he was 7 years old. Uh, and he came to this young monk and asked, "Oh, Bante, teach me the Dhamma. Teach me the Dhamma." Humbly, he asked him. Even though he was very senior, knew a lot of Dhamma, even very well versed in the Dhamma, he asked this young monk, "Bante, teach me the Dhamma so that I can attain enlightenment." So young monk thought to give him a lesson. Maybe by that time they all came to know him, what type of person, character he had. Therefore, okay, he said, all right, if you want to listen to me, if you want to learn the Dhamma from me, you have to do what I say. Okay. All right. Then he said, Portila said, okay, I'm ready to accept any advice. Whatever you say, I will do that. Okay, I'm ready. I want to learn the Dhamma. And then the young monk asked him to walk to a pond, water pond. There was a small, beautiful pond nearby, uh, which had muddy bottom in it. So he asked to walk to this inside of this into this pond. Okay, well, he got upset, but he agreed to take the challenge, advice, and he, without any question, he was going to walk into the pond. And when he was just about to step on the mud, young monk stopped him. Young monk stopped him and asked him to come back to him. Okay, Bante, please come to me, and I will teach you the Dhamma. Okay, and he explained a very important lesson. He gave him a very important lesson to him. He explained some Dhamma to him. He gave him an example. You know, he asked, "Okay, Bante, listen. When there is an ant hill, right? Ant hill, we know, where there are six openings, six holes in it. One snake, let's say gecko or an animal gets into this ant hill, and if you want to catch this gecko, how would you catch it? Then monk, the portiller, was smart, uh, and he said, "Okay, I would close 5 holes in on the ant hill, and I will watch sixth hole, and when this gecko come out of the sixth hole, I will catch it. I will put my hand through the hole, sixth hole, and I will catch it." So the young monk explained to this portiller now, all right, Bante, similarly, you have to close all your 5 senses. Hmm? You have to close all your 5 senses, and you need to uh, let your sixth sense open and mindfully watch it. Mindfully watch it. The mind's activities, thoughts, feelings, sensations, how these things are conditionally arising and passing away. Uh, this is how you can liberate yourself. This is how you can let go of all your suffering. Mm. So that monk uh, got the point and he practiced the meditation because that was a very powerful illustration for him. He had the knowledge, he had the Dhamma, but this illustration, this example was very powerful for him. It was direct for his experience. So he practiced meditation and he attained enlightenment. So can you imagine how smart the Buddha was? So if the portiller was going to uh, discriminate or disgrace, disrespect the senior monk who was enlightened by that time, he would not be be able to attain enlightenment because of that powerful negative karma. Buddha wanted to avoid that for him, knowing this portiller has the potential to attain enlightenment. That was the story. The connection to our main topic today, you know, when we talk about not to be burdened by duties is also uh, connected to this point. You can really catch your mind. You can directly observe your mind and get in touch with your mind at all times and learn how to remain mindful. And still, if you know how to let go and accept, you know, restlessness goes away. You know, uh, the complaint you may have uh, for being busy in your life is not going to be a big burden for you. So that's why I said uh, not to be burdened by duties. That unique quality has something to do with our wisdom, our wise thinking, our smartness. You know, that way we can really handle it, really control it, and we can live a very peaceful, happy, and healthy life. And that is the way to our spiritual development as well. Okay, so it has a very psychological benefits, and health-wise also, physical, both physical and mental. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. Do you have any question or comment? Do we have anything? Or are you still busy in your mind? The important thing is that one can be busy with knowledge also. That is the point. That Portilla, that monk was so knowledgeable and very well versed in the Dhamma. So he had so much information in his head. So he could not practice it and see it for himself, right? So uh, being busy and have different perspectives, different angles to look at, not just physically, not just mentally. There can be so many other conditions also that you can get busy inside.
Ante,
Yes.
as you were teaching and telling the story, it occurred to me that one of the reasons we take up the burden is because of the result of dividing our lives into different parts. And so when we go into different pieces of our lives, we imagine we need different equipment. And so we go to the cushion to put down burdens. And then when we go off the cushion to go to work in the morning or wherever, then we pick all the burdens back up instead of continuing the practice.
Right. Yeah, it can happen, right? Yeah. That's why I said it's being smart, right? Wherever we are, whatever we do, still, if we know how to be in the practice, that is uh, simply to be mindful, right? Uh, so we have to be very smart and manage these internal qualities in order to stay in that peaceful level. So to slow down, even, right? For many people, it has been a challenge for them to slow down. Some people don't know how to stop, how to slow down. Uh, but if we know, you know, how to be patient, give it some time for some problems, issues in our life, without rushing into them, taking enough time sometimes. Uh, these things can really uh, make us peaceful and relaxed, you know. And as somebody said, this COVID thing has given us that opportunity, to slow down, without much trouble. We have a lot of time. Some people even complain having extra time, like having nothing to do, right? So people have that problem too. Unexpectedly, we have this plenty of time. Some people don't know how to utilize it, get the benefit of this valuable time. So, so we can uh, look at these things positively as well, you know.
That story reminded me of the I can't remember what sutra it's from, but the
Uh-huh.
like a foolish man identifies as this because he doesn't understand this, and then a wise man uh,
Mhm.
does not identify as this because he understands it, right?
Right,
And identifying it, as like an all-knowing, like knowing the Dharma completely, and identifying that shows that he doesn't
mhm.
fully understands it, because if he understood it, he would know that he is not that, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's an illusion also, can be for many people, just by knowing the Dhamma, they can think that, oh, I completely get it. I realize it. They feel like they are being in that, you know, just by superficially knowing it, so it's a huge illusion. We have to be careful in the process, in the journey. You can easily fall into that. Just by logically, conditionally, superficially understanding them does not mean that you completely get it or completely you have transformed yourself in it. Yes, thank you. Anything else? All right. So let's learn about uh, being unburdened by duties and how to appreciate it, how to maintain it in our hectic life, way of life, and you get the benefit of this great quality and maintain a very happy, healthy, and peaceful life. So thank you very much for listening and joining. Uh, all the blessings to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bante.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhana,
Sadhana.
Thank you, Bante.
Thank you.
Sandu, sandu.
Thank you.